Well, first off, yes, we sent a limited group to the scuffle, and first, hats off to Gannon Gremmel for winning the title. Really good job. He probably is kind of hard on himself sometimes, but anytime I think you go and win your first really big college tournament, it's good for him. We took a bunch of young guys that I think when you get to the national level events, you get exposed. And so we took a bunch of young guys that got exposed. And so, hopefully they got some great focus coming back as we get into 2020. But for the guys that went out there, I think it was good. And now we're excited to go out west. We get 4 shots here in the next, couple days. And it's going to be a really, really busy January. So, we've had kind of our more elite guys back here training since December 27th. So I can tell you they're excited to get the heck out of the wrestling room, and they're ready to get west.
How does something like that help Gannon as you kind of get into the meat of the season?
I think, and as I alluded to at our the last time we stood here was before the scuffle. I kind of made a decision to send Gannon just because I felt like he's best when he competes. Some guys just really, really get up, and I think we get the best reps out of him when it's live than in here. And so I think that's just, he's got a tough, of all the guys we've got, I think he's got all four opponents that he's got in the road are in the top 25, and I think 3 of them are in the top 20. So he's got a really, good test, so he can't celebrate too long.
Speaking of those guys, I mean, you got Orendorff, you got Hall, 2 high-level guys.
Yeah, top 10 guys.
He is obviously pretty familiar with Orendorff, but how do you make sure he's still prepared and doesn't keep himself too high and he's ready to get back into action?
Well, sometimes Gannon gets almost too excited that he starts chasing guys. He's a little bit vulnerable. So I think he's done a better job of kind of lowering his level because he's a tall guy. And sometimes he gets in trouble because he chases guys and gives up a few easy takedowns. But I think he'll be ready for those guys. I think he's I think he's going to be in the top 10 or top 12 when the new rankings come out. So he's not going to get a chance to be the underdog a bunch this year. So he needs to revel in that a little bit.
And as you mentioned, you have 4 matches this weekend, I guess we'll call it, Thursday. But how do you make sure your guys are prepared for that long of a stretch of duel after duel after duel and keeping their weight down and making sure they're ready?
Well, first off, we have to make sure they're really in shape and rested. So we're going to do a few matches here today on Monday, and then we're pretty much going to rest. And they'll maintain their weight. Tomorrow's a day off for them, and just it's exciting. They get eight chances, 8 matches in 22 days. So it's really, I like the way it's designed, is that we got a really good, pretty long training period. We shut them down for a couple days and get them rested up, and hopefully we can make the most out of that.
How have you seen the guys like David Carr maybe, who didn't go to the Southern Scuffle, how have you seen them progress during this time off?
It was good for guys like David. Some of those guys that's a freshman and they've never really been through a long Division I training period. It's probably the longest training period, a real concentrated training period, where you really kind of grind and you work on wrestling, but you work on toughness too, and you work on winning in the third period. And he responded really well. Sometimes those freshmen, especially when they get in the lineup the first year, there's a big difference between a redshirt year and now you're the guy and you got to grind every weekend. So I was pleased with David as well as the rest of them. I mean, I think the guys that were here up and down the line did a really good job. The only guy that we didn't get a lot out of, he's still kind of probably a question you're going to ask, is Jared Dagan still banged up a little bit to the point that we will not wrestle him this weekend. I can tell you that for sure. We just got to keep progressing. But we are progressing. It's just not going as quickly as we'd like.
So Ryan Leisure at 149 then?
Yeah.
Okay.
How much of a point do you make to kind of squeeze duels like that together, matches together, close proximity? I know the West Coast trip probably necessitates that a little bit, but you mentioned you maybe liked that design a little bit. How much of a point or intent do you have in trying to set it up that way?
Well, scheduling is kind of a pain in the butt because we have to do it as wrestling coaches. So
Right.
Wrestling coaches aren't the best planners sometimes in terms of getting back to each other. So, just being able to fly into Salt Lake City straight from Des Moines and then go straight from Salt Lake City into Phoenix bodes well for as easy of a West Coast trip as you could put together. And then getting 3 dual meets in one day. I really like how Arizona State's got it laid out. I mean, we got dual meet, and then we don't wrestle till 7 at night. So to me, it's a little bit of how a day would be at the NCAA tournament. You could get a pigtail, you could get another match, and then boom, you don't wrestle till. So I think it's sets up really good for giving us a real feel.
Going back to Ryan Leisure, he had to medically forfeit some of his matches at the scuffle. Just curious, what's his situation? He's going to.
Well, we thought he broke his nose, but he just banged it up real good, so he's good to go. So it's just sore; it's not broken. So we haven't. He came right back, and we threw him right threw him right to the wolves again. He's in the groove again.
And for the Sun Devil Duels, you guys are going to be facing off with Arizona State. Means Colbray might get another shot at Zalid Valencia.
Yeah.
What does he got to kind of do to get some different results this time around?
We might need to bring a bat and a 2x4 and a pistol and a whip. That guy's you got to have some weapons to beat that guy, and you got to make sure that you're swinging your pistol and your whip a lot because he's a force. So I'll leave it at that.
What can Arizona State's obviously, I think they're ranked number 4 in some as high as number 4,
Right,
number
right.
3, that range. What would it do for you guys to compete well against them?
Yeah, we need to compete well against them. You know, I mean, we're going to win. I mean, that's what we do. We go to win, and if we don't win, I'm not going to be happy. But at the same time, mostly we want to compete. I mean, obviously, from a coach, you know, that's always been my motto as a coach, and it's our staff's motto: is, hey, you come off the mat, leave it all out there. We're going to be the first guy to shake your hand when you come off the mat. So we just need to go compete really well. We know it'll be a good environment. I think we're wrestling on a Major League Baseball field.